This is Think Out Loud on OPB and KLCC. I'm Dave Miller. We are coming to you today from the Rosewood Initiative. It's a community center on the border of East Portland and Gresham. The center just celebrated its 5-year anniversary. We're going to hear about what they do here in just a few minutes, but we start with Portland's 911 system. A new report says officials have been giving out incorrect data about response times for more than a decade. To make matters worse, for at least part of that time, leaders knew the numbers were wrong, even as they were sharing them with the public. The report was put out by the Portland Ombudsman. Tony Green is the Deputy Ombudsman for the city, and he joins me now from City Hall. Good to have you on the show.
Happy to be here.
Can you explain why the city, this bureau, was miscalculating these wait times?
The first part of the problem was a technological one, a system that the city installed in 2004 to screen out inadvertent cell phone calls, also prevented the city or caused the city not to actually track them correctly.
So this goes back to 2004?
Yes. In 2004, the Bureau of Emergency Communications was seeing an increase in accidental cell phone calls. That was diverting operators from real emergencies. So they installed a screening device called the Reno solution.
What did that mean?
Basically, it means that you have to prove when you're a cell phone caller that you're not a mistake. You have to either say something audible or you have to push a button, and that gets you through the screening system and either directly to a 911 operator or you're on hold if there's one who's not available.
But at this point, my understanding is that something like 75% of the calls that come into 911 come in from cell phone calls. Are you saying that none of those calls were actually accounted for in terms of the wait times?
That is correct. Up until recently, the way the systems interacted, cell phone calls, no matter how long the hold time and no matter how long it took to get through the screening system, were being counted as taking essentially 1 second to answer.
Once you had the Bureau calculate the actual numbers, how much did those averages change?
Well, it went from meeting its performance goal 99% of the time to closer to 68% of the time. So there was quite a bit of an impact.
How long have people at the Bureau known about this problem? The problem, as you pointed out, it's been going on since 2004. How long have they known about it?
Well, we were unable to go back to 2004 and determine who knew what at that time. There's been leadership change since then. But we do know that at least as early as December of 2015, the Bureau 911 Center became aware of this problem and set about trying to come up with a fix.
So that's a year and a half, but you've also noted that earlier this year, the former director of this bureau did not report this to City Council when she was talking about the performance of the bureau.
We did. That's what her report says, that the information that was supplied to the City Council and members of the Budget Committee said that the Bureau was meeting its performance measurement 99.6% of the time, and that is not correct.
This is not even the first time that your office, the Ombudsman's office, has found something wrong with the way this bureau handles calls. In a report that was released in December, your office wrote that more than 18,000 calls were mishandled, dropped, or not returned in 2015 alone. Did anything change after that report?
Yes, one of the things the Bureau did was change the recording that you receive when you call by cell phone, and it says that you need to not hang up, otherwise they will not be able to return the call. Additionally, at the time, the Bureau was already looking at a new technology upgrade that would allow them to capture those call numbers so that they would be able to fulfill their policy and return phone calls to determine if an emergency still exists.
The Bureau has now also changed the way it's calculating wait time. So as of about half a year ago or so, we have sort of this revised data. What else does the Ombudsman think needs to change in terms of the way this Bureau of Emergency Communication handles business? Well,
I think the principal thing that the report wanted to make sure is that moving forward, calls need to be reported correctly. And the problem, I think, is that by seemingly managing to answer cell phone calls despite chronic staffing shortages, it eliminated the urgency that there actually is a real problem and that public safety is at risk. Your hold times can obviously delay response. It can be the difference between a life being saved and a life being lost. So that's the first thing. But also structurally, there needs to be put more into code so that there's more of an oversight by the City Council and the public to make sure that this incredibly important service is operating as we need it to.
As we mentioned, the former head of this bureau, her name is Lisa Turley, she was alerted to this problem. She did not tell the City Council or the public. She's now been awarded the contract to manage the city's new 311 system for non-emergency calls. Should the public have faith in her?
That's a little bit beyond what we looked at. We didn't. I don't know all of the communications that occurred between Bureau management and the commissioner in charge. We know simply what we were able to see on the tape of the Budget Committee and looking at the documents that were presented to the Council. But I think any questions like this are things that the City Council, that's their job to make sure that the public is getting the kind of service it needs.
Tony Green, thanks very much.
My pleasure.
That's Tony Green. He is the Deputy Ombudsman for the City of Portland.